How good are Newcastle United this season? And can this season turn from good to great? Let's find out right here on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Oh, brilliant from Sham. And now Murphy will take on the shot. Fabian Schär
All right, all right, all right. Good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. Good to see you guys. I hope you are all blessed and you had a fantastic, what day is it today? Tuesday. Whatever you was out doing, whether you're out working, whether you're watching a football, whether you've come back from a long shift just now, wherever you're about to go to one. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me. And you guys are too blessed to be stressed. As always, folks, it's good to see you. I hope all is well. Tonight's show, I wanted to do the first part of the season review with one game left to go, and it is a it's a game. It's probably a game that's going to let us know just how good the season is. It's either going to be a good season, it's going to be a great season. It's either going to be a good season or the best season um, uh, of my I was going to say my Newcastle career. And it's not of my time as a Newcastle fan, to be honest. So we're going to find that out. But in the meantime, on tonight's show, we're going to look through some games, some metrics, essentially, just to see where the team is at. How have we done this season? What is our playing style? How what is working well for us? Where do we need to improve? Um, and that's for the first part of the review. The second review will be probably after it'll be either this Thursday or the game after, probably on the Tuesday after, where we're going to look at individual players and we're going to give out individual awards for player of the season. So do think about who your player of the season is. We'll be discussing that soon. So in the meantime, folks, let's get it on in terms of finding out. Let's talking about Newcastle, where we are in terms of as a team, um, uh, in terms of performance-wise, all that we're doing. I've looked at combined Opta analysts, FB Ref, FOTMob, AI, put it all together. Oh, and there was another one I've used as well, but I forgot the name of it. Another set of metrics that we looked at. So, guys, most of all, the best metric is you guys. So make sure you guys hit the likes, hit the subs, and my camera. Gosh, so already my camera's going funny. So I prefer it to be going funny at the beginning of the show rather than at the end. So let's just see what's going on. Let's see if we can reconnect things and get ourselves working again. As always, there's a little bit of, well, not as always. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of technical difficulty. Apologies. I just realized you guys couldn't hear me. My camera's off. Yep, here we go. See, now I've got my integrated camera on. Can we get the USB on? All right, crikey. We're back. So let's get it on in terms of let's talk about the team and get you. So you guys are going to be the greatest metric, and already we've got. So the greatest metric is you guys. I want to be able to get feedback from you guys and hear what you're saying, hear your thoughts and feelings about the team. I already got in the chat, so hit the chats, guys. I've got Warbo Jog here. Good to see you, sir. God bless you. I'm definitely here on time for this one, and it's good to have you, sir. And congratulations on the win against the Toon. You guys did play well. If I got time today, I will do a brief conversation review of the game. Let me know what your thoughts were on the game, Overjog. I know we're talking about other things, but I'll be happy. I'll be really keen to know what your thoughts were on the game. So, in terms of the team and everything else, let's see what we're gonna. First of all, I want to be able to say this is that Newcastle, we have a good team. Newcastle United is a good team. Um, I won't. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And I know that like we lost over the weekend, and there's all sorts of social media, isn't it? And you can't pay it too much attention. But look, guys, Newcastle United is a good team, and players don't need to be sold just because they've had a bad game or a bad couple of games or a bad couple months of games. This is a good team that when we apply more context during the show, we'll see just how good how well Eddie Howe has led the team, but also how well the players have come together to make this an incredibly successful year. Hopefully, it's going to be a great season. Excuse me. Uh, After the Everton game, where hopefully we win. So first of all, I want to give some broad overviews of the team, style of play, what we are offensively, defensively, and the first kind of set of stuff comes from FOTMob in terms of our rankings and various metrics, and then we're going to go into we're going to go slightly more into kind of granular details in terms of other metrics and stuff like that using Opta analysts and using FB Ref and the stats from there and kind of getting interpretation, getting some support and help from AI in terms of just interpreting some of that data. But I want to give a first overall view of Newcastle, our style of play, where we are defensively and offensively. So essentially, we're organized, we're efficient, and we're defensively robust. You'll see that from a defensive point of view. What you'll see a lot of the times, you'll see me talking about when we're kind of breaking down the metrics and everything else, you'll see that we excel at limiting clear-cut opportunities or clear-cut chances. So we have a very low XG conceded against us, which is good. And we're good at keeping clean sheets. I think we've got 13 this season. I think we've got 13 this season. So maybe joint top with Liverpool possibly. And that's despite us not having like a high tackling or being a high tackling or interception team. So there's something to do with our organization, the way we even kind of limit teams' chances, how disciplined and structured we are, that we're able to do that. I think that's really good. You saw it on the FOTMob that we have a very low tackling and very low interception team as well. But again, the XG against us is very low. We prioritize clearing our lines when under pressure, and our discipline's very good. We've only got one red card this season. I think that was to share. I can't remember how many yellow cards, but not too many. But we're a very disciplined team. Defensively, offensively, we're effective at goal scoring by creating high quality chances. We have a good XG, and in terms of creating big chances, and are quite. Where is it? And are fairly clinical. The key word being fairly. You're going to see me talking about, especially when it comes to things in improve, is us converting our chances. But we are a fairly clinical team, quite efficient. Obviously, I think we're the third highest scoring team in the league. But if we want to be elite, if we want to be amongst the Liverpools and or whatnot, we're going to have to boost our effectiveness, our efficiency in particular. You hear me saying efficiency in front of goal quite a bit, or especially when which is important. Especially we don't dominate possession. We've got about 50.8% average possession, which is about mid-table in the league. We don't take a huge number of shots on target. We don't rely on long balls for build up. We're actually a kind of a build up type of team rather than long ball and direct type of team. So in essence, Newcastle are a pragmatic and highly effective side. I want to keep that in mind because I'm going to talk about how Eddie Howe essentially has had to be pragmatic in his approach with this, and we're going to kind of add context to the team in terms of squad rotation, how small our squad is, hence why we're so pragmatic. So we're highly pragmatic and highly effective side that focus on solidity at the back and clinical finishing at the front rather than controlling games. That's going to be interesting because I wonder, we talked about this previous session, are we going to develop into a more kind of controlling possession side? So that's going to be interesting to talk about. Or aggressive ball winning. You will see also that we're very low in percentages in terms of winning the ball high up the field, which is different to the side that was in its second year under Eddie Howe, which was winning the third when we qualified for the Champions League the first time. You'll see me using a lot of the metrics to show that we're mainly winning the ball in the middle of the park rather than in the final third. And we have a very disciplined approach that makes it very, very tough for our opponents. So, real good overview there of the team in terms of where we are. We're a solid team, we're an effective team, we're a pragmatic team that concede very little chances and are fairly clinical up front. So good to see a few folks there. So that's like the overview. We're gonna go a little bit more into those metrics as well. So, but good to see Luca talks ball. God bless you, sir. Good to see you. Hi, how are you? I am living life to the full, sir. Living life to the full. Can't hear you, buddy. You guys can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? Guys, let me know if you can hear me. I said a whole. Oh, good now. Hey, you scared me. Oh my word! Big up, big up. Oh gosh, I hope you guys didn't miss too much. Big up to you, Luca. In my opinion, Aubajo's least deserved win for us, similar to your Emirates winning the League Cup. That's how I felt, to be honest. No, we deserve to win that, Aubajog. We deserve to win that, mate. But fair play to you. Thanks for sharing your. I did not. Thank you. At least you've been honest for yourself. Mighty Mag, good to see you. Mighty Mag, I'll be really interested to hear your thoughts on doing a season review for the team. This is the first part. We're going to be talking about the team, and we're going to do a second part in the next episode. We're going to be talking about individual players. So I'll be really keen to hear your views, Mighty Mag. Good to see you. Wilbur Jog, if Isak was playing, we're definitely losing that game, and I would have been doing grocery shopping for that chance he's created at the shot. Fair play to you, Wobble Jog. Davey, Eddie, good to see you, and God bless you, sir. Good, you can hear me. Like, I was so worried there. I'm like, oh my word. I said a whole load of stuff there. So, all right. So that was a good overview. So solid defensively, clinical up front, fairly clinical up front, concede low chances, don't really win high turnovers at the final third, but in the mid block, very pragmatic and efficient team. I think this is due to our quite thin squad, but again, for me, it shows how well Newcastle have done. Again, continue with the overview in terms of where Newcastle average. So again, average 50.8% possession. That puts us in mid-table. Confirms that we're not a possession-dominant side. Our accurate passes per match again puts us at 10th%, which matches up with the average possession for the league. So that consistent with the mid-table possession. We don't engage in higher volume passing. I think for good reason, in my opinion. I would love to get to know you. I think Eddie Howe's playing to our strengths. We don't. We don't. Apart from Bruno Tonali, we don't really have possession-based players at the moment. Whether we'll do that or not is something that we're going to kind of peel the layers of going forward. Accurate long balls per match, 18th. Again, very low ranking, suggesting that we rarely rely on long passes to build up play. This is a notable outline. You'll see a lot in our metrics that the main product of our game is our build-up, and everything that we're doing from there is very efficient. Accurate crosses per match, we're 10th in the league for that. Again, mid-table. As I'm reading to this, I'm thinking, how are we getting anywhere? Mid-table indicating crosses are a moderate part of our attacking strategy, right? So you're beginning to build up a real, kind of picture here. Attacking metrics. And this is again from our FOTMob rating. We're currently 7th ranked by them on all metrics, which is interesting. Which is solid again for a team. And God forbid, but this weekend will show exactly where we finish. Hopefully, we'll be 3rd, not 7th. solid, but not among the absolute top teams. So obviously that's what it's ranking for. Goals per match, we're third, which is really good. Very strong, indicates we're a highly scoring side. Obviously with Barnes, Gordon, Isak, Murphy doing the business. But also got a midfield that have got good goal contributions as well, in my opinion. So 1.8 goals per match. Expected goals were fourth. So, that's pretty strong with our goals per match. So, which is good. Suggests that we create good quality chances. Shots on target per match. Shots on target per match were 10th. So lower ranking despite the high goals, which suggests that efficiency and high shot quality when we do get a shot on target, which is, again, I think is more to do with the players that we have, making the most of the opportunities that we have. Big chances that in terms of created, we're fifth in the league for that. We have a good number showing that we're consistently getting to prime scoring positions, which is good. Big chances missed though, ninth, right, mid-table on that part. So, and that's what we're talking about, goal efficiency. So that's where we need improvement in our conversion, but not excessively, given the high number of chances. So create a big high number of chances. We've got guys that can put away the quality shots on target that we do have, which has helped us obviously score so many goals. But we can be more efficient in front of goals. Touches in opposition box, we're fifth, which is positive. So it shows that we have a decent presence in the opposition box and we're dangerous, which aligns with our attacking output. So I don't know what you guys think of that so far, but it's quite interesting reading there. So again, it just makes me feel very, very pragmatic and efficient, really. This side is, and it has had to be. We haven't bought a first team player in 3 transfer windows, so we've had to be very, very pragmatic. Is my initial thoughts, and I'm going to go to the chat in a moment. I do have a few slides I wanted to get through, so forgive me, guys. But I am going to get to you guys in a moment. Defensive. So that was the attacking metrics essentially, which are positive in general. Main thing is to improve our in terms of kind of is converting the big chances that we are creating. So defensive metrics, as stated, so goals conceded per match were 8. So we're conceding at least 1.2 goals, which is okay, but it could be better. Again, we've got 2 aging centre backs. I feel like I'm making excuses here, but I'm trying to be objective, but it is there. We're 8th in that. So we're letting more goals per game than Arsenal or Liverpool. Although, again, the other side is that we're second in the league for clean sheets. So we have 13, which is excellent and shows that it's very solid. So there's a discrepancy between goals conceded per match. That it might show that it's often that when we do concede, we typically concede more than 1 goal. I can think of Aston Villa 4-1, Bournemouth 4-1, Fulham, I think 3-1 or 4-1. Like it's excessive, isn't it? This suggests that our defense is very effective at limiting dangerous opportunities as well. So obviously we have one of the lowest XG conceded against us. We talked about this. Yeah, XG conceded with 18, which is insane. So on the one part we're like, if you look at our defense, and we're one of the strongest defensive metrics, which is XG conceded. But boy, when we do concede, or when a team that can get through us, they really, really get through us. So it indicates that we'll limit our opponents' opportunities. Interceptions per match, we're 17th in the league, so very low ranking for actually cutting out passes, which shows that we don't rely heavily on interceptions at all. Successful tackles per match, we're 17th again. Sheesh, how are we defending this stuff? Low ranking suggested that we're not, again, a high tackling team, which is crazy. So we prefer to have positional defending. So I think what it means is that you guys watch the games, we're very disciplined in our structure and our formations. You see teams often having to pass the ball from side to side. Oftentimes running out of ideas. We get men behind the ball pretty quickly. If we're not really kind of we don't win the ball high in the position third, which indicates we don't really go into the position third that much. We focus on the mid block positions as well. So a very 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 different discipline in that sense. So essentially, we defend through our position, through our structure, rather than kind of consistent physical kind of one-to-ones, individual battles type of thing. Second in the league for clearances, so very high, indicating that we're willing to clear our lines, which is positive. Possession won in the final third, again 13th, lower mid table. We're not really, we're not the team again that Eddie Howe took to the Champions League the first time around. We're winning the ball high up in the opposition end, and the fact that we know that we did well that year, but the second year our team collapsed because of how much ground and everything that we were covering. So this year in particular, we became very, very pragmatic, kind of defending the mid block. We don't concede many penalties. We've already conceded 2 this season, again, which shows good discipline from us. Saves per match. Our goalkeeper, whether it's Dubravka or Pope, are often having to make 3 saves during the match, which is mid-table, which isn't bad. Again, shows that our defense is doing its job mainly, and so are our goalkeepers. Set pieces. I haven't got too many metrics on it, but we've been awarded the fourth highest in terms of penalties awarded. We've been awarded 6. So I think that's a reflection of how many times we're in the position box. Remember, we're like 5th in terms of being in the position box. So it's not a surprise that we're like 4th in terms of penalties that we're getting, which is positive. Corners 8th in the league, mid-table that we get, indicating that we earn a fair number of corners. Again, not bad. So again, like really kind of pragmatic and efficient numbers here. So before I go into kind of how do we compare ourselves to other teams, I want to get you guys, let me see if you guys have got anything in terms of what you guys are thinking so far, in terms of what you're hearing, in terms of like how we match up, how we are in terms of our metrics, because it's going to be interesting how we match up to other teams as well. And we're going to break down these stats as well. Philip, Mighty Mag, Philip, I don't want to take the limelight off you. You are a star. Thank you, sir, and God bless you. No, I definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on our team and what we're seeing. It's so important because it's what makes the show. But I appreciate you, Mighty Mag, for that. I really, really appreciate this. Words of encouragement there. Wobo Jog, the game is evolving around fullbacks. Livramento caused us so much problems. He was your man MVP. You know what? Well spotted, Wobo Jog, to be honest. That's well observed. Excuse me. I think he took up a lot more central positions as well, and I think it allowed our midfield and our team to push up a little bit. But Arteta switched things up in the 50th minute, so maybe a little bit earlier than that. And Skelly and Rice took up positions in that area. And for the next 15, 20 minutes, you kind of overload the center of the park a lot. And that's when the little bit kind of basketball action started happening. The game was stretched, and then a moment of quality from Declan Rice. After that, though, we adjusted and kind of pushed you guys towards the end. But yes, Livramento, I thought was really, really, really good in that game. Really good in that game, and well observed. But in terms of our team, guys, as well, for me, I'm seeing that really is a really pragmatic yet efficient team. So in areas where we're kind of again, guys. Goodness me. Sorry. I can't believe this. How long have I been off? Oh my word. All right. Got my integrated map on again. Integrated website on again. Oh my word. And the thing is, I can't tell when I'm off. I can't tell when I'm off. All right. So let me just stay on the integrated map. Otherwise, on the integrated cam. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on going. Apologies there, guys. So you can't hear same. I can't. Let me get myself back on. How much are you offering for Gordon Wilbur Jog? So guys, I was literally. Listen, since Phil wasn't here, I can ask you guys about your thoughts on the Gordon to Chelsea. Arsenal interest rumors. Right, guys, I am back. I'm here now. What? Gosh, this camera. Back on. Oh my word! All right. So I have to keep an eye on this. Let's see how this works. Can you guys hear me now? Should be all right. I was basically saying that compared to teams where, okay, my word, what is going on? My camera keeps on going off. Let me see. What is going on? Why is it not behaving itself? I see the guys talking about Gordon. I'm hoping Gordon stays, honestly. And we need Gordon, guys. We really, really need Gordon to be a part of Newcastle and everything that we're doing here. I understand that folks aren't overly impressed by his performances of recent. However, I think there's reasons for that. And I think I try not to be too hard on players when they haven't done so well. Essentially, guys, what I was saying is I have to keep on looking, making sure that my camera's on now. So compared to other elite teams, our metrics, our goals and XG, we're just a little bit lower than the other guys, whether it's City, whether it's Arsenal and Liverpool, but we're doing well. We just talk about lagging significantly in possession. I don't think that's such a big issue because we're very efficient into a team. We've got teams like Chelsea who actually, if you guys watch 4-4-2, when Chelsea are in like 60% possessions, they tend to lose those games because they get caught in possession, whereas we're very effective with our possession. We're not trying to control or win games through possession. We're trying to control and win games through goal scoring. And we're doing that very, very efficient in kind of pragmatic manner. And again, interestingly, if you look at our tackles and interceptions, which are really, really low compared to Southampton, Wolves, Ipswich's, and Man United's, and those guys there. However, we've got far higher clean sheets than them, far lower XG conceded compared to them. In fact, those are kind of in elite levels for them, which shows how highly organized we are, how we're positioning defensive style rather than an aggressive style. And I think this is an approach that Eddie Howe adopted on the back of the fact that there's two things. One is obviously it's different from one is being such an intense side that was winning balls in the final third in that year that we won in the Champions League. The repercussions of that was the massive amount of injuries we had, coupled with the fact that we weren't able to buy a first team player for 3 transfer windows straight really hurt us in that previous season. So Eddie Howe, and this season too, instead though, Eddie Howe's learned from it, and he has taken a more pragmatic approach in adopting the mid block, in being effective in possession, in essentially being very highly organized team, not having to be so interceptions and tackle intensive, but being structured, getting men behind the ball against teams, and essentially hence why we don't have to do as much tackling interceptions as those other teams have to do. So it's been very, very effective. I don't believe that's the essence of who Howe is. I think he prefer a more high intensity, final third, fluid, attacking possession team that we saw in the first in that season when we got Champions League. But he's been pragmatic and very efficient with this team because of obviously the reasons that I've mentioned. I think once the transfer window happens and we get new players in, you see a more kind of we'll see a more free flow in Newcastle. So yeah, again, my screen's gone off. Interestingly, brilliant. It's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those games, but we've been very, very effective and efficient in terms of how we've been playing as a result of that. So let me fix my camera once again. We're going to be playing around with this for quite a bit. But yeah, this has been where we've been at in terms of the team. But let's get in terms of the more kind of pragmatic stuff in terms of kind of the other metrics, that have made Newcastle where we are in terms of such a pragmatic team. But let me just see what you guys are saying in the chat. I saw some stuff about Gordon. Like I said, keeping Gordon and Hall and all those guys. But you can have Wilson, as Mighty Mag says. You can have Wilson if you want him. And Target as well. Aiden Pitcher, good to see you. God bless you, sir. I got Havertz DM. Yeah, Wobajog isn't having the greatest either. All right, so let's get down to a bit of the granular stuff. What has made Newcastle Newcastle? So speaking of our defensive actions, I have to go back because I'm so worried now that let me share my screen again. I'm so worried I'm going to go off screen again. All right, so where are we? We talked about the mid block that we take up. Okay, so on the granular level, you see that we concede about 1.26 goals per game, which is quite high. In my opinion, again, coupled with the fact we've got high, really good clean sheets and low XG. Again, when teams do work us out, we tend to concede a lot of goals. Our pressing, again, we're winning most of the ball most of the time in the mid block position, in the mid block approach. Whereas kind of the more kind of elite teams, your Arsenals, your Liverpools, and your Man Cities are winning in the final third. So I think that's what we're going to see a lot more of, possibly moving towards that in the second season. But again, this season, I believe that we've taken a more, like I said, a pragmatic approach as a result of not being able to use a transfer window, and also trying to avoid risking injuries and playing to our strengths. We've got an aging backline that can't, necessarily be kind of pressing up so high, though they've been doing that a lot more recently, and credit to them, to Burn and Shaw. Again, you'll see that our tackles and our interceptions are very low, below mid-table. However, we are a defensively positional side, highly organized, which is reflective in the low XG that we concede and the high clean sheets that we have. So again, it speaks to our efficiency and to how good we are in terms of being an effective side. Our key contributors to our tackling, though, Bruno Gomes, Livramento, we talked about him earlier with Robojog, and Fabian Schär. Those are our chief tacklers, and you will know that, for instance, again, it indicates where we're winning the ball in the mid block or defensively. You'll see Schär pushing up, you'll see not Schär, Livramento pushing up sometimes in central positions, but teams do tend to try to go via Livramento as well, not via Livramento, but either on our flanks as well. So you'll see those tackles being a little bit higher, but again, not as high as other teams. Man United have a higher tackling percentage than us, but they're not a better defensive team than us, which is interesting, you know. So these are quite positive. So we've got some defensive solidity. You will see in the high blocks that we have, 11.63 per game. Clearances as well. You'll see that in our team. So it shows you again the team being disciplined, the team working really, really hard and doing everything in terms of avoiding conceding chances and everything else. So I think that's the part that's really, really positive to see from the team. Again, so what does it all mean in terms of the stuff that we talked about earlier? Let me get back onto the screen. Again, I'm absolutely petrified it's going to go off. Say about our style, mid-block focus. So rather than winning, as I said, rather than winning the ball in the final third, as we did in that first Champions League season, we win it in the mid-block. Typically that's reflected in our recovery distance. Though this is interesting, we tend to struggle in our transitional play. So 1.26 shots ending in turnovers are not ending in goals. So shot creation. So and we have a low shot creating actions from take-ons as well. So there's high inefficiency in terms of us. If we win the ball back in the mid block, we don't seem to get goals from that as well. So again, that might point to how we talked to earlier about, you know, while we're looking at forwards, while we're looking at right wing forwards as well, that who can score as well, kind of points to our goal efficiency. What we're doing well, our defensive structure is very, very good. Positional structure is very good. It's reflective in the amount of blocks we get, clearances that we do per game. The amount of low danger chances created against us is reflective in us as well. Our midfield is our shield. Gomes is, his tackles and interceptions, and Joe Linton's tackles and interceptions. That's kind of our robust midfield base. We know what Joe Linton does, especially in protecting either Lewis Hall or Livramento, whoever's on that side, but also being that cover when Tonali or especially Bruno go up front as well. So our midfield is our primary shield. Areas we can improve: high pressing, so winning the ball more in the final third. Again, I think that's going to be a thing that we do in next year when we get more players in. The elite teams do that: Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City. So I don't think we're going to stick to this mid-block style. This is a very pragmatic style. Transition efficiency, so only 1.28 shots ending in turnovers. Shot ending turnovers show that we need to convert defensive actions into dangerous chances. So for more shot creation actions from take-ons. So essentially, when we're winning the ball in the mid block and we're breaking on teams, we're not scoring, we're not creating chances, we're not getting goals that way. So we need to be able to change that. And I think I want. Is that something to do with the way we're kind of breaking on teams? Is it the players that we have maybe in the wrong positions because we're taking that mid block style? And the other thing that we need to do is reduce errors, like 0.89 errors. So nearly, at least we have at least one error per game, which is nearly one error per game. So that's something that's got to change as well. So some interesting stuff there in terms of those stats, especially kind of from that defensive point of view. We'll go into kind of shot creating actions in the moment. So goals and shot creating actions. So talking more about attacking style again. We talked about it earlier in terms of what we're doing. But let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. I want to catch up with the chat. Villa fan, good to see you and God bless you, sir. Hello, Phil. Chat. Hope we're good. Very, very good. Very good, sir. You ending? No, just started. Well, not just starting, but like I'm going towards the halfway. So no problem there. Stick around, Villa fan. And consistent Mag FC, good to see you, sir. God bless you. Adrian Pickett, no Villa, he's just warming up. Indeed. Good to see you guys welcoming each other. Wobo Jug, 6 of us are here are not paying their rent. I know it doesn't have to ask, but often can we like the video? Yes, guys, please do like the video. And we've gone from 6 to 16. So guys, do like the video. It'll be most welcome. Help it go around. That'd be really, really good. There we go. Good to see you guys welcoming each other. Josh Toonami Philly, good to see you, sir. Cheers, Philip. Hope you are well, my friend. Living life to the full. Living life to the full. And good to see Bobby Fairview, sir. God bless you, sir. Big up, Philip. Bless up the chat. Unfortunately, City did the business today. They did. And they look good. And seeing Rodri on the field felt like the return of Batman. Honestly, it felt like the return of Batman. So, going back to the kind of the attacking metrics, and make sure I'm frightened to that I'm going to be off again. So, we talked about Newcastle, very interesting attacking metrics. Although like I said, we've got, I think we're the third highest scoring team in the league. We create lots of big chances, good quality shots. However, we could improve on the conversion of our big chances. So that's what we need to improve. Hence why we're looking for more forwards and right wing forwards as well. And if you look at our playing style in terms of kind of our approach, in terms of our goals and shot creating stats, you'll see that we prioritize a structured build up in terms of creating goals. So we're not scoring goals really from winning the ball in the mid block, which we'd like to do. We're creating it from actually a structured build up. So you see that from our shot creation actions, from live passes. Most of our goals come from build-up goals using crosses and progressive passing. So passes into the final thirds. We struggle in direct transitional attacks, which is I'll be surprised if that was the thing that we was doing in the Champions League. I think it's more to do with how we're played in the mid block. In my view, but I'd love to get what your take is. Have you guys noticed that we haven't really scored, or that we're kind of struggling to when we get the ball, recover the ball, either in the mid block or even in the high turnover, but typically in the mid block, like we're not really scoring goals in that way. It's typically us from a build up play, which I don't mind build up play. However you're going to get there, but it's just interesting that that's what the case is. So what we're doing well, we're effective in our structured attacks. We're converting from our build-ups and converting chances into goals, which is important. With key players like Gordon, I know people be talking about Gordon getting sold. Gordon is one of our big players, and Isak, in terms of shot creating actions and their clinical overall, both on Opta and on FB Ref stats. These guys have come up as clinical. What we can improve, though, is increase our shot creating actions from take-on. So when you see players literally taking the ball on, carrying the ball forward, we can improve on that. And shots and improve our direct attack output. A winger with the better 1v1 skills, yes. I think especially from that right side, where we're constantly looking at Anthony Langers, your Brian Mbuemos, your Maduekes, hence why we're looking at those kind of dynamic right wing forwards to add some versatility to our attacking approach. And those that have closer range finishing skills, which I'm sure Mbuemo has. and enhance our set piece efficiency. Although I did hear the other day that we've scored from like 13 corners or something like that, like the same as Arsenal. I heard that in the game. I didn't realize that. But we can improve on that essentially as well. So kind of enhance our ability to score from dead ball situations. We've talked about that before as well. So there's a lot of good there. We're scoring goals from our build-up play, but there's also areas that we can improve, i.e., when we're breaking on teams, when we're winning the ball from in various positions, typically mid-block positions. We're not really converting, or when we're kind of doing take-ons, we're not really converting those chances, which is interesting. So it's a mixed bag there, but I think it will improve with better players and better rotation in our team. So that's kind of my initial thoughts on that. Josh Toonami, Phil, welcoming each other. It's good to see. Bobby Fairview, only 2 spots left to be filled. Yes, that is true. This weekend will be nuts. Lucky for you, it's in your hands. It is indeed. Looking forward to the Everton preview. So am I. I'm looking forward to. I'm doing it. I was going to start talking about the Everton game, but I'm going to refrain from that. But yes, I'm looking forward to it. Bobby. Are you looking forward to to the Nottingham Forest preview? Not preview, but are you looking forward to the Nottingham Forest game, Bobby? I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Wobo Jog, do you worry those numbers dropped last season with Champions League and with the busier schedule? Maybe not by the same amount, but still a drop. Yes. So I think they have. And had I had more time, I would have done a more comparison between us. I wasn't going to focus on last season. I was going to focus on our season before that when we qualified for the Champions League, just because we had so many injuries that how we're playing, our style of play, I don't think would have been the true. I feel like we was always in survival mode. So yes, to all those things and the injuries, hence why Eddie Howe has become a lot more pragmatic. And you can see in terms of our style of play now and everything that we're doing, but also with the addition of Mr. James Bunt, our performance director, our injuries have lowered. And now, hopefully, Mr. Paul Mitchell will do the job in terms of the transfer window, and we'll see a far more robust squad coming into next season. I'm expecting Newcastle to be a little bit more high pressing, shall I say, as well, and have a little bit more dynamism in going in those attacking areas. But yes, Woodrow, great question though. Do you worry these numbers drop? Oh yeah, so I just read that. I've just read that. The Villa fan, we have Man United next. Not confident at all. You got to be confident. Those guys are either going to be drunk from winning the Europa, or they're just going to be so sad from losing the Europa and finishing 17th. Like you know, I think I kind of early spoiler alert. I think those final 2 place spots are probably going to be filled by Newcastle and Aston Villa, in my opinion. But we'll see. We will see. Queen of Park, good to see you. God bless you. Good evening, folks. Good evening, Philip. Good evening to you. Hope you are well, living life to the full. And looking forward to the summer transfer window and seeing what the club brings for us. Things can only get brighter and better. I love that attitude. Absolutely. Josh Toonami, Philip, do you think in a weird way Europa League may be it? No. No. Better for us to facilitate our growth. No, it's the opposite. Sorry, because I had a conversation with with Strasbourg Steve on the football terrace. Just think champs might be too big for elite. No, it's not. It's not. And the greatest respect. And this isn't just to you, Josh. It's to anybody who thinks that essentially we will get better or we'll have better chance of either winning or we'll become a better team by being in the Europa League and not being in the Champions League, that it's a stretch too far. You get better at being and increase your chances of winning the Champions League by competing in the Champions League. It's kind of, and again, Terry Flewers from the Football Terrace made a great comparison. In my view, is Newcastle aren't expected to win the Premier League next season. That doesn't mean that it's better for us to be in the Championship because we've got a better chance of winning the Championship. It's not. The better thing is to be in the Premier League as often as possible, competing at the higher end as possible, consistently as possible in a sustainable manner, because over time you get better and hopefully win it. So that's how I view it, Josh. But let me know what your thoughts are. But definitely not for me. Champions League, competing for the league, that's what will make Newcastle a better team, in my opinion. Aiden Pitcher, for me, it all depends on what we can do in the summer. If we get the depth, then we'll be fine. That's what's destroyed us in the season. We had no depth, yes, and PSR hurt us as well. I think that will improve us. All right, so back to the. Let me just finish off the chats. The QVR isn't looking too shabby. No, thank you. No, thank you, Obajog. No, you're all good. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you. QVR isn't looking too shabby now. He does. No defensive depth. I like God loves a trier, Obajog. He loves a trier. So you'll see also from our passing types, in terms of what kind of passes we will. Oh, let me get back to this actually, because again, like I said, I'm worried that I'll come off screen again. So passing types, you'll see that Newcastle typically are using short to medium passes, so 87.8% success rate in those, supporting the idea that we have a structured build up with 9.61 sequences, and that essentially means that we typically are able pass the ball between 9 to 10 times mostly, which shows our build-up play, and that's how we get most of our goals. It's not us which is a funny thing. It's not us like recovering the ball in the mid-block and hitting the team in the transition. We're not getting goals that way, which is crazy. But we are getting goals from our structured build-ups, which is, again, very, very interesting. And the key player, again, in that position, as well as his tackling and interceptions, is Gomeres in his progressive passes. And that's because he drives penetration effectively. Again, my camera's going on dodgy again. So good. So annoying today. What is happening? Let me see if I can. The sound went off, but I saw it. I caught it early. Yeah, got the integrated camera back on because it's all dodgy again. But again, we're going to work with it anyway. But yeah, it's our progressive passes. It's our progressive passes from structured build-up plays, which are typically between 9 to 10 passes, and that's how we're getting our goals. Typically, not like winning the ball high up and stuff like that, which isn't part of our game at all recently. So, and Bruno is a key part of that. We can improve that. We can improve our pass. Well, it's interesting. So, working on this on AI is funny because AI really wants Newcastle to be a high volume, higher passing team, high in possession, because I think your Arsenals, your Man Cities, your Liverpools are high volume possession teams who win the ball high up in the field, but also have high possession as well on top of that. So, I would perhaps there's some validity in what kind of what's being suggested, that the elite team, the teams that are winning the Premier Leagues, going far in the Champions League, speaking of the Champions League and everything else, are the ones that this is the style of play that's getting you there. So essentially, that's what we've got to get to. So I wonder if Newcastle, if we sell Sean Longstaff, for instance, are going to get a midfielder who's able to keep possession better or pass is a higher volume passer as well, to help us to control games as well and improve our long pass and cross accuracy, which is interesting. Our cross accuracy isn't the greatest. So the players that we're linked to, it's funny. So it's going to be, that's why ball playing goalkeeper like James Trafford, is going to be important for us because, as I mentioned earlier, and a centre back as well, a ball playing centre back, because as I mentioned earlier, the goalkeeper becomes like the 11th outfield player, like in terms of outfield player out on, and not just out on the pitch, but like up in, not in goal search, not in his penalty box, and it allows the midfielders to push up. So we can have a situation we've both got Tonali and Bruno in the opposition end, controlling the play and being progressive and having key passes as well. So that's going to be important for us to increase our volume in passing and controlling the games in that way. So ball playing goalkeeper, ball playing centre backs are going to be very, very important in terms of our build up play as well. So there's areas of improvement there. We're talking about it now in terms of Newcastle having more depth in our squad. I think that's coming around as well. But as mentioned and said again, we've been very, very good in terms of what we've been achieving so far, in terms of being very progressive in what we're doing so far. Excuse me, not progressive, very efficient in what we're doing so far as well. So let me get on to the next. So where were we? Past types. I think we talked about that. So yeah, no, we haven't. So make sure you guys can see that past types, and I'll go back to the chat once I do the past types. Again, with what we're doing, with how we're setting up, we're very effective with our through balls, 5.86, led by, again, your man Bruno Gomes, who we know plays in a more advanced role nowadays as well. He's supporting the final third kind of key passes. We're very consistent wide, whether it's through Murphy, whether it's through Gordon or Barnes on the wings, via crosses, leveraging players, and Livramento and Gordon as well. They're very, very key in terms of getting our ball, getting crosses into the box. Speaking of Gordon, kind of highlighting his importance to the team. We can improve in our switch plays. So you guys will know, for instance, like Fabian Schär, who's our key switch player. So switch play essentially meaning passing the ball from, say where Fabian Schär is from right centre back, he'll pass it to whoever's on the left wing or left wing forward to Gordon in the opposite direction. Same as when we had Botman in particular. Byrne doesn't do this, but when we have Botman playing on the left centre back, he'll pass it to the right wing forward position. So because obviously Botman's been injured most of the season, we haven't really had someone that can do this. And it doesn't have to be just defenders that do that. It can also be our midfielders that do that. But I think we've got less of a reason to do that because of our style of play, which is more build-up based. But if we had Botman, for instance, doing that, I think we'd have more available more often. I think we'd have more switch play statistics as well. So I anticipate that will improve for next season as well. And yeah, so that will boost our overall pass volume as well. So yeah, so again, there's demand for us to be more expansive, have a higher volume in our play, have more dynamism in our attacking play, and kind of proceed that way. But like I said, because of PSR not being able to buy players for free transfer window straight, and also avoiding injuries and everything else, and being pragmatic in our approach because we've got a small squad. I'm going to show you again our squad rotation. We use 15 players. 15 of our players have played 1,000 minutes or more. That's not a lot. So we're going to talk about that as well. But this pragmatic style, this efficient style has been very, very successful for us. But I don't think this is how we'll play next year, in my opinion. Good to see people welcoming each other as always. Is it just me, or is this a better camera? You know what? It might be, honestly. I'm gonna have to do just stick to it, possibly. I also asked that question myself. Bobby Fairview, unsurprisingly, I'm nervous. Maresca backed off his philosophy a bit in the last game. Who did you play? I saw that game as well. Was it Fulham? No, was it Fulham? It wasn't Fulham. Who did you guys play? So the players are able to take more risks. Yeah, except the assist from Reece James, he was in the final third, wasn't he? Like literally outside the box. With Reece and exactly with Reece now quality is better than Forest, so we might edge it. Okay, that's his confidence there. It's good. It might do. You might edge it indeed. Adrian Pickett, yeah, Match Bobby is definitely the pick of the bunch. That's going to be a hellraiser. Um, Luca talks football. Newcastle goals come from build-up play. Yeah, and literally that's the story of our attack. It's literally from build-up play, which is very different to what we were doing in the first year when we got Champions League. So, that's part of our very pragmatic and structured approach in this season, honestly. But yeah, in summary, essentially, of everything that we've just said, what Newcastle are doing well at, like overall, and like just looking at this team overall, what we're doing well at attacking strengths, structure, build up, play efficiency. Newcastle are highly effective and controlled attacking sequences. Again, 9 to 10 passes, build up, play type of situation. Where from those build up plays, we're scoring about nearly 2.64, nearly 3 goals per game, or are likely to score goals and generating shot creating actions from live passes, not from like set pieces and stuff like that, but from kind of live play. This reflects our ability to progress the ball methodically with players like Bruno, him in advanced positions, with Mr. Tonali in the six as well. With Bruno there, passes per game, 6 progressive passes from him, driving penetration, making sure that we're clinical in the final third, clinical finishing. We're scoring about 1.89 goals per game, so nearly 2 goals per game, which is good. It's overperforming our XG. Again, when you've got the likes of Gordon, Isak, and Barnes, you tend to perform your XG. We've got contributors like Isak, obviously, as mentioned. Barnes has been very, very efficient this season. I didn't realize he's got, I forgot how many goal contributors. He's got 9 goals, and I forgot how many assists he's got. About 15, I want to say. He's got 15 overall, like, goal contributions. Very efficient in kind of converting their chances. Very good in our through balls. Again, Gomes being the big factor in that as well. He effectively breaks our line centrally, contributing to final third passes per game. We have wide play consistent. We consistently go for our wide players, whether it's Murphy or Barnes or Gordon on the side, though we can improve our crosses per game. That's kind of been how effective we are in that. As well as Livramento, and I'm sure when Lewis Hall was playing, that was the case as well. Defensive strengths, we limit the shot quality against our goal. We've got one of the lowest XGs as well, part of that, like similar to Liverpool's and Arsenal's and that, which is good to see. And even though we're one of the lowest hence why we're one of the lowest in terms of tackling and interceptions, because our positional play is really, really good. We're a structured team. We've got men behind the ball, and we've got them in the right areas, essentially. Another big contribution to our defensive part is our midfield is a shield. Bruno Gomes, who gets tons of tackling and interceptions per game. Joe Linton, the same. They provide that kind of shield to our defense, as well as possession recovery. So in our midfield block, we're winning. That's where we're winning most of our tackles per game to ensure that we retain possession effectively and are enabling structured transitions into attack. So that's what's allowing us to be effective and very efficient in our play. But also we need to improve. We do need to improve, and I think this is the part where I think we can start to think about the type of players that would help us going forward by talking about how we need to improve. Got a chat here from Overjog Phil. We'll see more fullbacks in the middle of the park next season against City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Brighton. Will we see more fullbacks in the middle of the park next season? That's a great question, Overjog. I'm not sure how Eddie Howe plans to approach this. I have a feeling that he wants to go something similar to what we were doing in the first time we got to the Champions League. We were a high pressing team, but he prefers fullbacks to be overlapping. That's what I'm sort of anticipating. But at the same time, I think he'd want more control as well. So we'd have more technical midfielders or maybe technical fullbacks who can control it. But I don't think Eddie Howe. I think Livramento has only been inverted out of necessity because obviously Lewis Hall's been injured, and he would typically invert himself, and Livramento would stay out wide. But Lewis Hall was inverting because to support Tonali whilst Bruno would go up. But the only reason that's happening is because it's because of we don't really have a nut. Botman's been injured, and he's been one of our main kind of athletic, strong, modern defenders. So essentially, what I'm saying is, had we had Botman and Gahey, for instance, this season, I don't think we'd need inverting fullbacks because we'd have ball playing 1v1 supreme duelers in our defences. And so our fullbacks continue doing overlaps, our centre backs will be pushing up, and our midfielders will be pushing up as well. And that's how we'd gain control and possession over teams, and there'll be less of a need to invert our fullbacks. That's my guess, though. That's my guess. But it wouldn't surprise me either way. But great question, though. So how Newcastle can improve in our current form, attacking areas for improvement. So direct attack efficiency, as I talked about earlier, when Newcastle are winning the ball in the mid-block position and we're breaking on teams for one reason or another, we're not really converting those chances or even creating shot creating actions, which is crazy. Seeing from take-ons, I didn't realize that. We're far more efficient in build-up play, which is interesting. Shot quality and variety. So our average shot distance is about 15.9 yards, suggesting that we're consistently creating higher. We're not consistently creating higher dangerous chances closer to the goal. So that needs to improve. I think that improves with more dynamic wingers or wing forwards instead of over-reliance on Isak. We know, for instance, Isak hasn't been the greatest in the last 5-6 games. That's because he's been playing. He's played 41 games this season. And we know that obviously his groin has inflamed. We're hoping he's going to be fit for this Sunday's showdown. But again, it goes down to our depth or our lack of depth as well. Set piece effectiveness, although we've scored from 13 corners, matched Arsenal's, which is crazy, but we can be more effective from free kicks and corners as well. That would help us. That's an area of improvement. Defensive areas, so shot suppression. So Newcastle face about 12.4 shots per game, allow our opponents too many opportunities to shoot, even though their quality is relatively low. Can we improve on that, like the elite teams do, like your Arsenal's, your Man City's, your Liverpool's do? That typically happens when your team is very effective in high pressing and winning the ball in the final third. So I think we will see a return to that next season if we're successful in the transfer market, which I think we will be. And defensive to attack transitions. Again, I'm very surprised. So if we're winning the ball in our defensive third or mid-block and we're breaking on teams and we're doing a high turnover, we're breaking on teams, we're not creating either shot creating actions or we're not scoring goals, which again, I'm very surprised at. So that's something I think, again, that goes down to having more dynamic wingers. So if we had like a player that can, on the right wing side, on the right wing forward side, for instance, like Anthony Elanga or Madueke or whoever you can think of who's very good at taking on a player, shooting, that would really, really be helpful to us in terms of what we're trying to do, and reducing errors per game. So we're producing about 0.89 errors per game. So if we're able to reduce that, that would be super, super helpful in terms of helping the team progress. So there's a few things there, but essentially, in summary, we're a good team, guys. Honestly, Newcastle United is a good team. Um, in summary, our style is, we have a structured approach. We rely on build-up play. Typically in our attacks, we don't have too much possession. We don't have too low possession, 50% possession instead. So we're not dominant possession-wise. Instead, we're kind of balancing controlled sequences. So passes, the amount of passes we have, so which is about typically 9 to 10 passes before we get to the opposite end. So our approach is quite methodical in that way. We rely on wire play and defensive solidity over sustained possession or direct counter-attacks, reflecting our mid-table possession ranking. So that's where we kind of, so it's not possession, but it's kind of our wire play and kind of how we do our build-up play. That's our chief way of kind of winning games. We're very, very good at what we're doing well. We're good at, like I mentioned, we're good in our wire play. We're good at clinical finishing. Defensively, we limit high dangerous opportunities against ourselves. We have a good compact mid block. We have good clearances. We have good possession recovery, especially in the mid block, and we support transitions into attack pretty good as well. So that's the stuff that they're very good at. And areas that we can improve: direct attacks, winning the ball, creating actions from various areas, improving our shot qualities and closer to the goal more often. That improves when you got higher technical attackers and you're able to rotate them with the current attackers that you have, in my opinion, as well. So I think that's to come. Hence why we're looking for such dynamic forwards in the transfer window. And defensively, we can reduce the amount of shots we're facing. We're facing about 12 shots per game, even though typically they ain't high quality shots. But if we reduce them even further, again, that'll put us into even kind of a higher place in terms of up the league. Because obviously, the better we get defensively, and the more we are in terms of converting our chances, the higher up the table we go. So all in all, we're a very efficient, very pragmatic side, a very balanced side, in my opinion. And that's kind of reflective in our overall kind of metrics in the league as well. So hence why at the moment we have 60 points. In fact, let me show where we are in the league at the moment. I'll take that off. I'll bring it back in a moment because I want to show the score rotation. But I want to show where we are in the league at the moment and kind of where are we? Explain, kind of reflect on that as well. Where are we? Standings over table. Here we go. All right, so let me share this. Let me zoom in first. Back here. Let me show this. So here we go. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. So hence why we're currently fourth with 20 wins. Oh gosh, here we go. So sorry, we're currently fourth with 20 wins, equal to Man City. More than Arsenal. We've got more wins than Arsenal, which is interesting. But we're 5 wins behind Liverpool. We've got 6 draws. The least amount of draws compared to everybody around us, really, which is interesting again. And the most losses. We've got the most losses to the teams below us. So Chelsea, Villa, Forest, and Brighton, interestingly. But we've got the most losses of compared to anybody in the top 8, which is interesting. which is our season. Yet we've scored 68 goals this season. Obviously, Man City won today. Otherwise, we would have been second for most goals. Currently third, I think. Liverpool with 85. Man City with 70, Arsenal with 67. Arsenal 67, so we've got 68. So we're third in the league for that. Or plus 22 goal difference. One of the best goal difference. So the teams with the best goal difference above us, City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. And so all of these guys have high pressing styles, high possession teams, and have dynamic forwards, a lot more technical midfielders, and I think that's where we're heading to in terms of what we're trying to achieve in the season. As well, kind of if we're looking to climb up the table and do what we're doing. I wanted to kind of also emphasize and add context to why we've been so kind of pragmatic in our approach in the mid block, build up play, possession, but not possession for possession's sake. 50% possession, being effective in our wide areas and everything else. And I think the big part of that, as well as, again, no transfer window for no first team player from a transfer window for 3 transfer windows, the injuries from last season, and obviously having a performance director who's helped us manage the squad a little bit better. But speaking of the squad is also very, very thin. And we're going to go into that in a moment. But first of all, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. So there's lots to go on there in terms of for Newcastle, but we are a good team. And like going through this has emphasized to me just how good a manager, how elite a manager Newcastle Eddie Howe is to me, and how good our players have been in executing the plan and that he's set before them. Robojog, and how do we see Newcastle pivot after Dean Huijsen to Madrid? Great question. I think we're looking at Nathan Collins from Brentford, Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace, Malik Chow from AC Milan. There was another centre forward I was thinking of. Possibly Diomande from Sporting Lisbon, but I haven't heard too much about him. So there's a good kind of variety in centre backs that we're looking at. Robojog. Also, Robojog, just for your information, the set piece stats for Arsenal this season at 13 goals are actually worse compared to last season, 20 goals. So you're going to look at, but teams, that's natural. Teams have been doing a lot of video analysis on how you guys do your set pieces, and there's only so many patterns and plays you can do in set pieces, and where you just say we've got bigger players than you, we're just going to score that way. So that's natural. So I think we've matched that ourselves as well. But again, areas to improve. But as I've said earlier, in terms of, but thanks for that, Robojog. And also, so like I said, the reason for us where we're so kind of pragmatic in our approach is the fact that our squad is thin. It is a thin squad for various reasons. Whether it's injuries, whether it's Eddie Howe not really trusting certain players, and whether it's been us selling players, Mickey Almiron, Lloyd Kelly in the January transfer window, and not really replacing them, well, not really, just blankly full stop, not replacing them, but also the sales that we had to make in the summer transfer window of Anderson and Minte. I'm very confident now looking at him, but also Anderson, that they would have played more minutes. We can already see, for instance, make sure you guys can see this, you can see this. For instance, and this is, I broke it down into minutes being played, the maximum being from 3,900 to all the way down to 500 and under, and I broke it down into 500 minutes each. So so the top 3 players that we're highly dependent upon, that play literally most games, nearly every minute, is Dan Burn, Bruno, and Shaw. And then from then on, just a little bit lower, the next core of players playing between 3.5 or 3,400 to 2,900 minutes. Livramento, Isak, Tonali, Joe Linton, Anthony Gordon. And then below them playing 2,900 to 2,400 minutes. You've got Nick Pope, obviously. He's been switching goalkeeping responsibilities with the Bravka. Jacob Murphy on the right forward position. And Lewis Hall, who the only reason he's there is because he got injured again, because there's very limited rotation because Matt Target has either been unavailable or Eddie Howe just blankly doesn't trust him. And then from then on, we've got one player in Harvey Barnes who's been playing between 1,900 minutes to 2,400 minutes. Again, an example of how thin our squad is. We've got 3 players that play between 1,900 to 1,400 minutes. That's Kieran Trippier, Martin Dubravka, and Joe Willock, who again, in my opinion, hasn't been good enough this season. And I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle sell him. And then there's a huge, again, drop off from that. We've only got one player who's been played between 1,400 minutes to 900 minutes, and Sean Longstaff, who again, I think will sell. After that, from 900 minutes to 500 minutes, we've got a player, Lloyd Kelly, who we sold. Lewis Mine, who is obviously a young player coming through our academy. Some believe he should have got more minutes, but it's difficult in our midfield. But again, points to a lack of rotation. Sven Botman, who's been injured coming off from an ACL, has been playing less minutes as well. And then, interestingly, 500 minutes and under, Callum Wilson, again, we're not renewing this contract. Miguel Almiron, who we sold. William Osula, similar, position to Miley, not quite trusted yet. A young player coming through, Matt Target. I think he's lost the trust of the manager. We're looking to move him on. And Brad Karmas, who was a PSR signing. That's not good. That's a thin squad. In fact, how thin is, I've got to summarize that squad just for you in this, is that in summary, the average age of our squad in those various categories that we just talked about, for instance. So especially the ones that we heavily rely upon in terms of Dan Burn, Bruno, and Shaw, is 31 years of age. So the players that we rely the most on, the average age is 31. So that's the first place that we need to go to in terms of the transfer window and lowering our dependency on older players. We've got to change that. And the next core, the next core of players though after that is 24 years. So we've got to build on that. The most rotation we have is in the central midfield areas. We've got about 6 players, but only 5 of those players have played over 1,000 minutes. So in context, it's about 11 games. So that's where we've got the most area of competitions. But players who have played, we've only got 15 players in our squad who've played over 1,000 minutes. So like roughly 11 games this season. We've got 15 players. So there's a reliance on them kind of a very limited players. We've got so if you look at that position, for instance, in our centre back areas, only 2 players in our centre backs have played more than 1,000 minutes. We can guess who that is. That's Shaw and that's Burn. Lloyd Kelly obviously has been sold. Sven Botman has been struggling with injuries. So again, that's why we're looking for centre backs. That's an area we've got to improve. Central midfield area is, again, we've got the most rotation there. With 5 players playing 1,000 minutes, but even in those, Joe Willock and Sean Longstaff, we've got to improve on those players, in my opinion. And Lewis Miley has to step up. He has to show why he's better than them. Right back area, we've only got a better rotation there. We've got 2 players, obviously Trippier and Livramento, who've played 1,000+ minutes as well. Left back area, only 1 player, and that's Lewis Hall. If you want to include Tino now, but again, it shows him at target's not good enough. So that's an area that we've got to look at it as well. Is Alex Murphy coming back from Bolton? He's loading up with Bolton. Is he good enough? That'd be interesting to know. In our wingers positions, in the left wing and right wing, we have Gordon, Barnes, and Jacob Murphy, who've played more than 1,000 minutes. But clearly, we need one more player there. but there's been some decent-ish, some good rotation there, but we need to improve. Centre forward area, there's only one player who's played more than 1,000 minutes, and that's Alexander Isak, who's currently recovering from an injury that is caused, is the groin area, the muscle area. I think is caused from overplaying, and we need him to pick up the axe one more time against Everton. So again, we need a forward or a centre forward in our ranks, because Callum Wilson's not been good enough, despite being available. Wasula's not quite ready as well, despite being available. So again, points to the forward areas and stuff. Some of the stuff we know. Better rotation in our goalkeeping department as well. But again, we need to do more than our goalkeeping department in order to improve our squad. So I wanted to add that context in terms of why Eddie Howe, I think, has taken such a pragmatic approach this season in terms of in terms of the team, in terms of how we play. But it's been very, very effective. At the end of the day, we've won the League Cup. We're finishing the quarterfinals for the FA Cup. We're currently fourth now, and we've got destiny in our hands when it comes to qualifying for the Champions League. All we have to do, I say, and I'm going to say, all we have to do is, all we have to do at home at St James's Park is beat Everton, who are or should be on the beach, are missing their first team centre backs in Branthwaite and Tarkowski, and have nothing left to play for. So destiny is in our hands. But also, the main thing is that Eddie Howe, through incredible management, elite management, and the really good application and execution of our players, have got us to this position, have put us in a great position. So pragmatic approach from the team, but it's been very, very effective, and it's brought us trophies, in my opinion. So we're a very, very good team. And in my opinion, we've had a very good team, and we've had a very, very good season, and we're one game away from having a great season, in my opinion. So before we conclude, we've got one more chat here, and that is from RoboJog. Do you have the running stats? If you are doing, I don't know where I can get the running stats from. If you know where I can get the running stats, I will chase that up. But no, I don't have the running stats. If you are doing less, or maybe I wonder if FBref have them. I'll look it up. If you are doing less running at max speed for turnovers against you compared to last season, I expect that to be the case to avoid muscular load on the players. Yeah, I think that's definitely a factor. I think the fact that we're doing less less pressing in the final third is another factor, because you'll have more distance to cover. You need rotation. If you watch Liverpool, for instance, just the other day, and they do this all the time, not just the other day, I think in the 60th, 70th minute, they brought on 3 players, and Nunes, Diaz, and somebody else. Then they added 2 more in the 80th minute. And they do that throughout the season because they've got the players, they've got the squad to rotate. And we don't have that kind of quality and quantity to be able to rotate like that in game or for the start of games. Hence why I think we've taken such a pragmatic approach. So this transfer, well, first of all, winning this game against Everton, qualifying for the Champions League, getting the revenue from that, getting the stats from that, and the prestige from that, and attracting better players from that is going to go well for our transfer window. So this transfer window is absolutely important. But all in all, in conclusion, Newcastle United are a very, very good team. And I think we've learned a lot from our past. We've had to deal with PSR. We've had to deal with massive injuries. I think it's taught Eddie Howe a lesson, and he's adapted the team. He's playing to our strengths, and it's he's got the best out of the team in terms of attacking, in terms of our build-up play. And I think part of the reason why our build-up play is where we're so reliant on it, is also it allows us to not get caught out of possession if the wrong pass is made and opposition teams are able to break on us, and that's reflected in the low XGs that we concede. So it's been, and also reflective in so that's been incredible for us. But also our positional play, defensive positional play, has attributed to that, and it's been absolutely phenomenal display. But we can't do this for another year without new signings, that's for sure. However, the team has performed incredibly well. We won the League Cup. I didn't mention that, but we won the League Cup, obviously. And we've played the best of the best sides: Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Brentford at one point as well. We did phenomenally well to win the League Cup. And we were unlucky to go out of the quarterfinals of in the FA Cup. And now we're in fourth position for the Champions League. One game away from Champions League, one game away from having a season of winning a trophy and qualifying for the Champions League. Best season I would have seen as a Newcastle fan. We've got a final game at home at St. James's Park. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So, guys, Newcastle United is a very, very good team, and literally who've had to adapt and adjust, and have done it through incredible management from Eddie Howe and execution of our team. So we're one game away from turning a very good season into a good season. And you guys have been absolutely phenomenal in the chat. I've had so many issues with my camera, with my sound. At one point, you guys just had to talk amongst yourselves, but you stuck with me and you've been here. That you all deserve. You deserve all a round of applause for yourselves for that. Really, you've been absolutely incredible. So we've got one more chat here from Wobajob before we go off, but I want to make sure you guys know how incredible you are. Please do leave a like as well, share and subscribe as always. Wobajob, I think PSR won't be your issue. I think it'll get scrapped with Lynn the next 2 to 4 years. It's the FFP. If you remain in Europe moving forward, that will be a limiting factor. I think our wages to turnover is a lot better now with the current squad that we've got. And I think qualifying regularly for the Champions League will help us alleviate that. But you make a very, very good point. But I think they've already made moves to do that as well. I know that because I did a show on it as well. So, but you make a very, very good point. Guys have been absolutely incredible. As always, make sure you have a great evening. And as always, folks, take care and God bless.